Before Phil Vasili died, and the wife he was divorcing was charged with his murder, they were an Australian success story. Phil grew up in working-class Western Sydney, met and married Donna, had 2 children, and then became the $600 million man. The martial arts expert who made a fortune out of feet. He loved life. He lived the life. Fast cars, private jets, and a mansion on an island paradise. Finished on the day he was stabbed to death. Phil's final hours were spent at the guest house in the grounds of Tumbiumbi, the just-completed mansion he and Donna had been building. Just after 3 p.m, 2 friends of his wife, Miles and Jodie Pritchard, came to view the finished house. Donna told them that Phil had been drinking heavily and had fallen down the stairs, cutting himself on the smashed glass of a picture frame he'd knocked off the wall. At around 3:15, another guest arrived, Donna's nephew, Mitchell Matthew. Later, after a nap, Phil came downstairs and joined them outside on the patio. He joked that he was now sober and they were drunk. These photos of Phil and Donna show the exact location and have been used by forensic criminologist Dr. Xanthi Mallet to recreate the crime scene and re-examine the crucial hours.
If we walk around, we can see the chair that Philip was actually sitting in. That's why we've got most of the blood on that cushion. Somebody, it appears, stabbed him from behind. The women that were present that evening were both drinking. Donna was sitting in that chair, we believe.
So over here?
Yeah, at the head of the table, facing the beach. We've got some cigarettes, various people were smoking. Again, more DNA in the mix there.
The Pritchards, Mitchell Matthew, and Donna's maid all left before 7 p.m. Only Donna and Phil remained in the guest house. Donna Vasili claims she only stayed a few more minutes, and her husband was home alone and very much alive when she left just after 7. At 7:40, every security camera on the Vasili property went black.
And just everything went to black at that one time, at that one point.
Turning the cameras off allowed Philip Vasili's killer to escape unseen into the darkness. This is a photo of Mitchell Matthew in the kitchen where Phil died. On the chopping board is a black-handled Wusthof knife that may have been used by the killer. Mitchell, who left before the murder, is not a suspect.
The last person seen leaving is the nephew at 6:58. Donna is never seen.
There was no CCTV camera above the patio, so Phil's murder was not captured. But there was a camera filming the driveway, which recorded everyone except Donna Vasili leaving the house that night. During Donna's trial, this footage was played to the court.
I remember in the bottom left-hand corner, there was the driveway with the friends leaving. They showed that part, and I remember it going to black. You didn't see her leaving.
In her police interview, Donna said she walked to her daughter's home 3 kilometres away. The next sighting of Donna by her nephew was sometime after 9, leaving 2 critical hours where her movements cannot be accounted for. Donna's defence team said somebody else was the killer. They suggested an intruder came up from the beach, snuck past Phil, got a black-handled knife from the kitchen and went back outside to stab him.
The knife trajectory is basically as if somebody is stabbed kind of back to front. It's gone in that way.
Right.
The front of the blade has ended up in front of the handle. Phil then stands up and then goes into the house through that kitchen door.
Was he trying to reach a phone to call for help? Was the intruder watching on?
They may have fled the scene, they may be watching this, we don't know. They could have followed him into the house. There are 2 different size prints on the mat in blood, but his feet are different sizes. His right foot is half a size to a size bigger than his left. So we don't know whose prints they are.
But if both footprints are Phil's, then there's another scenario, which was raised by Donna's defence team, that he took his own life.
He would have had to reach over his shoulder, get the knife blade in front of the handle, and stab downwards, with a lot of pressure, 5 3/4 inches into his neck, that way. Now, this is a man with anatomical knowledge. He's a podiatrist, so there are much easier ways if you're going to kill yourself with a knife. But he's very unlikely to have been able to commit that injury using a knife on himself. So I think we can pretty much rule out suicide. Well, we do have to consider her as a suspect because we know that she was the last person to have seen him alive, as far as we can tell.
During Donna's trial, based in part on her police interview, this is what the prosecution alleged happened.
Donna's own evidence was that they had an argument over Phil's being drunk and embarrassing her in front of their friends who'd been here. He wanders outside to get away. Donna is angry, so she picks up the knife, follows him outside, and actually reaches over from behind and stabs him in the neck. And she means it.
Is it significant that Donna's DNA is not found on the knife?
Unless the person who held that knife also cut themselves, that would be the only reason I'd expect to see someone else's DNA anywhere in this blood. So the fact it's Phil's is completely normal.
Whether this was a crime of passion or a carefully planned hit, the police believe the killer had to be someone familiar with the layout of the Vasili's brand new mansion. How else could they know that the CCTV control box was concealed next to Phil's office on the 3rd floor, well away from the guest house where he died?
So whoever turned it off knew where that CCTV system was.
The jury took just 4 hours to find Donna Vasili guilty. But 20 months later, the Bahamas Court of Appeal ruled her conviction unsafe and ordered a retrial. Among their concerns was the presence of a mystery suspect at the murder scene, a suspect they dubbed Blue Glass Man.
So this is the blue glass that has the unknown male DNA.
So this suggests there could have been an intruder or somebody else there.
It suggests there has been another male there, and we don't know whose DNA that actually is.
Mitchell Matthew was tested and is not Blue Glass Man. The prosecution believe the DNA belongs to Miles Pritchard, who left the guest house before the murder, was ruled out by the police and was not tested by them. But without confirmation, the possibility remains that someone else was there that night.
Well, it at least means another male was here. Until we identify them, we can't rule them out.
Does that mean that Donna may not be in the frame, that she might not have been the person who killed Phil?
It means that there's somebody else here.
Possibly the killer?
It could possibly be the killer. It could be completely innocent. Until we test the DNA and match it to a person, we just don't know.
During her many court appearances, Donna Vasili became a grandmother for the 2nd time. One of the grounds for her appeal against her conviction was that the trial judge hadn't drawn the jury's attention to her previous good character. She'd never been convicted of anything.
Could I play you, because in court, certain messages, voicemail messages, that go to that issue of good character were not allowed. Could I play you some that have come into our possession of Donna talking to a woman who was having a relationship with Phil?
I would love to hear that.
Let me play you this. I'll let you...
Hey, this is Donna calling from Phil's phone. Listen here, you little fucking Asian slut. Back off and leave my family alone. Do you understand? You're in fucking deep shit, you little slant-eyed slut. And put your fucking hairy legs together, and he hates Asians, you bow-legged fucking slant-eyed bitch.
Wow. Wow.
So back off, stay away from married men. And besides, there's a fucking drug addict and an alcoholic, so fuck you.
Now, listening to that, is that the woman you saw in court?
No. Wow. Whoa. That's Donna Vasili?
Yeah.
Wow.
So fuck you.
That's a lady with good character.
But the jurors never heard that. I never heard that. This is a different side of Donna Vasili. We never got to see this side of her in court. She always sat there very calm and very reserved, very quiet and very collective. This is a raging woman who was clearly upset.
And before Phil died, what had clearly upset Donna was his relationship with Sonny Heng.
I don't know if I'll ever meet anyone as big as he was to me.
In 2012, Sonny was working at the Four Seasons Hotel in San Francisco and had looked after Phil and Donna when they came to stay. An encounter that neither Sonny or Donna have ever forgotten.
How you feeling today, little gold digger? You always like holding my hand and rubbing my leg and wanted to go shopping. All you wanted was a fucking old man with a bit of money, you cheeky little slut.
You know, no one sees that side of her.
What side?
This, like, rambling woman, you know, imitating Asian accents and calling me a cunt.
Yeah, you can get fucked, you little fucking Chinese fucking cunt.
1 year after they met,
She's like, I know where you live, and I have friends everywhere. And she would say my address.
If they track you down at 1911 Drive, you're in fucking deep shit, you little slant-eyed slut.
Was threatening.
Threatening?
Threatening, like saying that things could happen. She was not playing. And Philip was right.
Why did he hire you as a bodyguard for Sonny?
I think he was more in a fear that something would happen to Sonny.
Did she ever threaten your life?
She did.
So I've got the big fucking boys on you. You're dead.
Can you have a look at that?
Yeah.
That's a surveillance photo taken by an investigator employed by Donna Vasili to watch Sonny.
a confidential
Wow.
source supplied us with copies of the surveillance reports. Little of Sonny's life escaped Donna's prying eyes.
Taking out the trash, taking the dog out. My dog knew it. She would stop. She'd...
And this is a report written by the investigator. He says subject, that being you, and German Shepherd dog exit the subject apartment. So he was following you that day and other days.
Lots of days.
Hi, Sonny. You haven't called me back. It's been such a long time. I met you in October at the Four Seasons. Anyway, just keep your big bow legs, hairy fucking cunt, closed, and stop trying to milk my husband for money.
You know, Donna would always, like, get into fights with Philip and start hitting him. Like, one time he came and he had, like, all these scratches and everything, and he's like, she's so strong. You know, she's a strong woman. She's not, you know, she's not this, like, petite, quiet woman that she tries to portray herself as. She would attack him.
But the violence went both ways. In November 2013, Donna Vasili's hatred of Sonny Heng
Leave husbands alone. Do you get it? You big fucking scary hoe.
would, at this rented Florida mansion, see Phil turn on his wife. That evening, in the presence of their son Aaron, a vicious verbal argument became physical. Angry at Phil's relationship with Sonny, a furious Donna threw a glass of water at him. Phil retaliated. His assault left Donna bruised and bleeding.
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
Philip John Vasili was arrested and his mugshot taken. He was charged with domestic battery
Philip needed the charges to be dropped in order to at least be able to move about.
And for the charges to go away, Phil needed Donna to agree to withdraw the allegations. Donna was now calling the shots. She had strict conditions, and top of her list was Sonny Hang.
One of the conditions was I move out of the house and I stay away from him completely.
Did you move out of the house?
I did.
And you stopped being together?
Yes.
Do you believe that Donna instigated that fight to get him to that point where he stopped seeing you?
Yes.
I'm still trying to, sort of get Sonny in the right space. Obviously with going through a divorce, plus having a pending prosecution over from the state for technically assaulting my wife, which I didn't. My wife's in a very powerful position, so with Sonny being anywhere in the picture in the next few months, it's just going to be death for me. So, I've got to, diplomatically put Sonny in the background in the short term and, try and figure out where I end up without as many bruises and bumps that I can. And that can only be done if I'm sort of by myself and have no connection with anybody that's going to piss my wife off.
Another condition was that Phil enter rehab. 6 weeks after his arrest, he checked into Passages, an exclusive facility on Malibu Beach in California.
I got him to Passages.
What he explained most was that it was a very volatile relationship, and I think they both drank a lot.
What did he say about the violence towards Donna?
He'd say, I really tried the best I could, McKenna, but when someone is screaming in your face every day and hitting you, that he said he would hold her, put her against a wall.
They were both very,
just toxic to the...
Toxic. And neither one of them were right. I'm not gonna say either one of them were right, because there's no relationship in the world that anybody should be hitting anybody. And they were both guilty of that, I believe.
At Donna Vasili's trial, the jury was told of Phil's verbal and physical abuse towards her. What they didn't hear is this new revelation, that Donna had previously stabbed Phil.
When we heard Donna was coming, it's kind of a running joke that we needed to hide the knives.
Why?
Because Donna had stabbed him once before.
How did you know that?
Phil had told us.
Phil said, Donna stabbed me in the leg.
And you're certain the words are stabbed?
Oh, positive.
Yes.
Was there a scar, or did he show you where it was?
There was a scar.
He showed me the scar. And
showed you the scar?
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was right about here on his quad.
Did Philip ever confide in you that Donna had previously stabbed him?
Yes.
Before he went to Passages, Phil told the exact same story to his friend Worryman.
That was in Chicago to see Carnage fight.
That's Carnage, or Nathan Carnage Corbett, 9 times world champion Muay Thai fighter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, standing on the right and fighting out of the black corner.
During that time that we have all the boys there, he explained to me, I've been stabbed once. She can go from 0 to 1,000 and just like this.
He said, I've been stabbed once.
Yeah.
Once before?
Once before in Florida. And at the table, she stabbed him with a butter knife. And I said, she stabbed with a butter knife and stabbed you? She said, yeah, he stabbed me.
We've also heard from other witnesses to a conversation where Phil Vasili said that his wife had previously stabbed him. So he's told at least 4 people in this conversation that she had previously stabbed him in the leg after an argument. Is that significant?
That is significant. It shows that she loves knives.
What prompted her anger over that caused the butter knife stabbing?
I think it was Phil's friend named Sonny.
He did not press charge. I said, why won't you press charge? He said, it's not who I am.
Here's to the end of a good week. Thank God it's Friday.
All right, guys, I got it.
Hey, you got it? You got it?
Towards the end of his stay, during what's called Family Week, Donna went to Passages to take part in a joint therapy session with Phil.
They were walking out of their session and I was walking in, and Donna went out way ahead of Phil. Phil was still in the office. He walked out and he said, well, I asked her for a divorce. It did not go well.
He told me, she didn't hear what she wanted to hear.
She's standing right there just screaming at the top of her lungs. And I walked in the therapist's office and she's like, she's gonna kill him.
The therapist?
The therapist.
Said that to you?
Said that.
Was the therapist being flippant?
No, I think the therapist was a little in shock herself at how much hatred she portrayed. I mean, it was clear to all of us.
Yeah.
That day she was there for family, that she hated him.
And she hated Sonny Heng even more. Donna's ultimatum was non-negotiable. For her to drop the charges, Phil had to drop Sonny. When Sonny drove him to Passages, it was their last goodbye. To save his business, they broke up.
In Passages, he meets Lisa.
He does.
I just feel like someone needs to be a voice for Phil. He's a good man. He didn't deserve to die, and I think he's got a bad rap.
This is Lisa Lugo's first interview, one she was warned not to give.
Everyone kept telling me not to because they're afraid for me. They're afraid.
Afraid in what sense?
Of her, of Donna, of his family.
With all the money.
Are you afraid?
No,
Why not?
because this isn't about me. This is about him.
Lisa now lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. But in 2014, the then single mother of two was at Passages tackling alcohol issues. While there, she met Phil.
We went to dinner one night with a group of people, and I remember we just sat there and we just laughed. We hit it off. We just hit it off, and it clicked in my head. I was like, wow, this, he's kind of a cool guy, and has a funny accent, and from there we just clicked.
Was it love?
Absolutely.
And when he left rehab, he left with Lisa. It was a whirlwind romance.
We were in Miami, laying out by the pool. There's a video that goes along with this, and I remember him in the video telling me, I love you.
Soon, they were living together.
No secret at all, at all. We were very open about it. We were living together in Malibu. We rented a home out there. He had purchased a ring for me, and he had purchased a matching one for him.
The ring that he had with Donna?
He threw it in the ocean. I saw him throw something, and I said, what'd you do? What did you throw? And he says, I threw away my ring. I'm sick. It's done. It's over. He took off his wedding ring and threw it in the water.
Even though he was now with Lisa, Phil and Sonny Heng remained friends. Lisa knew, but Donna didn't. And as a result, her rage shifted elsewhere.
So she stopped calling you?
Yes.
Started calling Lisa?
Yes.
Same campaign of harassment?
Correct.
There was never a time that I was left alone. She said that she would make sure that my life was miserable.
And when did this stop?
After Phil died. When Phil died.
As she had with Sonny, Donna Vasili hired a private investigator to follow Lisa.
She sent us pictures of us that she got from the PI saying, I have somebody watching you.
And like Sonny, Lisa was subject to constant abuse.
She would call me a she-man because I like to work out. Just almost funny when I look back
How many
now.
of these messages did you get?
Oh, Lord. I mean, text messages, there had to have been 300-400. Emails, 50-100. I mean, I don't know. I changed my phone number 3 times. And each time she got it. I would go through hours of these phone calls and her telling me, this isn't Donna, this is so-and-so, and then her finally going, oh, this is Donna, and and it just craziness. She's nuts.
Leaving abusive phone messages doesn't necessarily make somebody a killer.
No. But she said numerous times that if she couldn't have him, nobody will.
To you?
To me,
If she couldn't have him?
nobody would. Nobody would have the life she had.
Did he intend to divorce?
Yes. And she responded in writing, in emails, that she wanted the divorce over with.
Do you think she really wanted that?
No. I think she said it when she got angry, but I don't think she was ever going to let him go.
Once, when Phil relapsed, he rang his estranged wife drunk. He'd had an argument with Lisa, and Donna pressed him for details, while secretly recording their conversation.
She's going to make claims on you, Phil.
I don't give a shit. I have stuff to fucking wipe her out.
Is she drinking?
Fucking hell she is.
Has she been drinking the whole time?
Yes.
And she denies all that shit, but everyone's seen it.
That was in Miami, and Phil had one of his binging moments. So I removed myself from the situation.
And he calls Donna.
He calls Donna. It's almost like a little boy running back to his mom. And she sent me that. That's how I got that message. She sent me that saying, look, this is what he thinks of you. So she got him so upset that she just egged him on and then started recording what she wanted me to hear and then sent that to me. She wanted him to be embarrassed. She wanted the world to think he was a horrible person. But I wanted him to be happy.
And there's somebody there who doesn't want that.
Yeah, it was like a constant tug of war with somebody that just wanted him to be miserable.
The night before Phil Vasili died, he Skyped Lisa Lugo. Lisa was in the US, Phil was in the Bahamas.
He was on the patio where he was actually murdered. That's where they found his body, was where he was sitting, talking to me, Skyping.
And when was that Skype chat?
That was about 24 hours before the murder.
And what did he say?
That he loved me, that everything was gonna be okay. His Australian accent, that he just made everything okay,
But 24 hours later?
Everything was not okay. And I asked him, I said, Phil, where's Donna? And he said, oh, she's in the other house. And I said, are you sure? And I just had a weird, I felt like she was listening.
The next day, the 23rd of March 2015, Phil was murdered. He'd returned 2 weeks earlier on the 6th of March. Just why Phil came back is a matter of some speculation.
Just thought I'd get back into it and let you guys know that I'm back in the Bahamas.
Perhaps one of the reasons was to see his daughter, Lauren, whose birthday was on the 9th of March.
She had just had a baby, his grandson, and he had mentioned it a few times that we should have a baby.
Another reason, almost certainly, was to talk to Donna about the completion and sale of Tumbyumby, the palatial house they'd been building.
That house was really stressing him out. I mean, it was just sucking money out of him. I mean, he was writing checks for $500,000 every week.
And perhaps the biggest reason was to finalise the multi-million-dollar divorce he and Donna had been negotiating through their lawyers. But is there another reason why he went back?
Is it possible at the end that he went back to the Bahamas to try and have one last go at saving this marriage?
No.
Why are you so confident? Why are you so certain?
Oh, hi, Sonny. It's Donna Vasili calling. Just give me a call back because I'm going to get the fucking FBI onto you before you can count to 10.
If Donna had heard that Sonny was having a baby, how would that have affected her?
That would be devastating for Donna. That would be a war.
A war?
Yeah.
The last couple of months of Philip Vasili's life were complicated. Though he remained very close to Lisa Lugo, they were no longer living together. He and Donna were in the final stages of their divorce, and her settlement demands allegedly involved some unusual conditions.
One of them was that he would get a vasectomy, and so that Laws and Aaron would be his only children, and that she'd be the only person to bear his children.
That was a term she dictated to Phil? To get a divorce?
Yes.
And he told you that?
Yes.
Behind Donna's back, and also unknown to Lisa, Phil and Sonny Heng had secretly rekindled their relationship.
We had started back up again, and he was really scared.
But Phil thought he'd found a way to keep Donna in the dark.
He's sitting there and he's like, let's make you a Tinder account, you know? And it was kind of funny because he here's Philip writing a profile for me to set Donna on a different course.
During their time apart, Sonny had briefly dated a boyfriend called David. Phil wanted Donna to believe Sonny was still with David and suggested she post photos on social media of them together.
I wonder if maybe you should still post some stuff on Instagram, because Donna's going to look at it and she's going to almost work out that you've split up with David at the same time that I was at San Francisco.
It was in San Francisco that Sonny and Phil had become lovers again.
Yeah, I'm just having a drink with my son in the bar downstairs. Obviously, don't come in. Text me when you're here, and then I'll just bail on him and just see you.
When Phil went to the Bahamas to stay under the radar, he and Sonny Heng kept contact to a minimum. But while he was there, Sonny learnt some important news and left messages for him to ring her urgently. Phil rang back, but she missed his call.
You never got to tell him. Before he died, were you carrying Phil's baby?
I was.
Just before Phil's murder, Sonny went to a clinic in San Francisco where her pregnancy was confirmed. She fears that Donna, who'd previously hired private investigators to follow her, may have discovered that she was pregnant to Phil.
It's very possible.
Why?
Because I went to the clinic to verify if I was pregnant.
So you might have been seen.
I definitely think so, because Philip had just been in San Francisco, and I think she sensed something different in him.
And on previous occasions, she'd had you watched.
Yeah.
She might have known.
After Phil's death, Sonny lost their baby. There's no proof that Donna Vasili knew that Sonny was pregnant, or even that she was back together with Phil. 3 days after his death, it was Sunny Heng's 30th birthday, the worst of her life.
She knew that Philip would end up with her. Philip would end up living with her.
With Sonny?
Yeah.
Has Sonny got over his death?
No. She never will. She never will.
London now holds the key to Donna Vasili's fortunes. It's a legacy of the Bahamas' colonial past that their highest court sits in faraway Britain. Donna's legal team have applied to the Privy Council, seeking a ruling that she not be retried for her husband's murder. If they win, she wins her freedom. And what of the business Phil built? What happens to the fortune he made before he was murdered?
I've been told that it's as high as $700 million.
Just before Christmas, an invitation-only cocktail party was held at the Manhattan showrooms of Vionic, the company Phil founded. The attendees were all big money, from the big end of town. Wall Street investors excited by the news that US footwear giant Caleres had just bought Vionic for $500 million Australian dollars. Just how much of this windfall goes to the Vasili Family Trust is unknown. Donna is one of the trustees.
Interview 2, take 1 marker.
There's an image I'm going to ask whether you want to see or not. We've not shown it to Sonny, but it is a photo of the crime scene after Philip Vasili was stabbed. Are you prepared to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not Philip. That's not him there.
I'm sorry, mate.
We all sorry.
But whoever did that left him to bleed out and die.
Yeah. Cold blood.
Donna Vasili has always maintained she did not murder her husband. Somebody else did. As for Philip, 4 years after his brutal slaying, his business has been sold, and the dream home he built and died in has also been sold.
He didn't deserve to go like that, to die like that.
His final resting place is unknown. The identity of his killer remains a mystery.
Hey guys, just in Sydney now, Australia. I just thought you guys would really appreciate the position of this penthouse.
I think about him a lot. Sometimes I go and listen to his voice notes that he would send me, and I'd go back and read over different Bible verses he would interpret for me.
I know, and I will defend him to the end, that how good of a man he was.
I promised I'd love him forever, and I do, and I will. You know, my husband knows that now. My kids know that. And I hope he knows that.
He would want us to remember how he was and how he enjoyed life.
We ended up smoking cigars and drinking beers in the house, so, you know, the wife wasn't impressed when she got home.
I think whoever did this deserves the same fate. That's what I think.
In Nassau, Bahamas, this is the view from top of my new office, looking down at Old Fort Bay. Beautiful temperature and beautiful beach.
Would you do the same? Would you stay with him? Would you be with him?
I would do it again.
No regrets?
No regrets. Just the way he left the world is so tragic.
I want justice. I want justice.
I would feel much safer living, going on, if there was justice for him.
You always gonna be in our hearts, son. You're always inside all of us. You're never gonna be forgotten.